and that you could possibly hear it, I would say you just got to back out of that. Just got to walk away.
So you don't think it's worthwhile saving this relationship? You can
Well,
basically the guy telling the girl.
Love is going to trump everything. If there's love there, you got to kind of walk away from the meal and say, all right, let's look at this and get the big picture, okay? Because what has been said is very hurtful. I get that 100%. But in a drunken stupor, you've heard me talk, and like I would love to put my penis in that one. Yeah.
Mike, you say that sober.
I know.
Yeah, right. you said that 5 minutes before we started, and you were talking about some dude over here.
Somebody takes it out of context. I wasn't like literally talking that.
But
no, I know.
you,
but I guess that's I was making a point, a statement similar to that. When you're drinking, sometimes things get exaggerated. Did she really want to have a relationship with this client, or was it something that she was in? Maybe there was just a sense of infatuation.
I guess here's the other side of it, okay? So he doesn't say what the rest of the conversation was because he says that he got up and whatever. But okay, so let's try to run this down. This how this when she said she was obviously referring to this guy. She was about to say something about this guy. And the way that she tried to remind her mom of who that person was to say, so-and-so, the guy I want to be with but can't because he's my client. Not, so-and-so who I've talked about before, or so-and-so who, there could have been 1,000 different ways that this girl could have described this guy to her mom to remind her mom of who that was. And instead, the way that she chose to remind her mother of who the guy is that she's about to talk about is the guy I want to be with. Now, to me, what that means is that conversation has come up before. Yep. Right. That she's reminding her mom, so-and-so, the guy I want to be with but can't because he's my client, means that this statement has been made, that's the reminder. Yeah. Oh, that guy. Yeah, I remember the guy that you want to be with but can't because, that's a fucking issue.
The topic has been discussed at least once before,
exactly.
if not multiple times.
Right.
But here's the one thing that I'm perplexed about is she says, I cannot be with this client. I can't be with this guy because he's my client. She doesn't even say, I can't be with this guy because I'm already in an existing relationship.
Exactly.
I think that's what really pisses me off mostly. Right. And I guess, you know what I mean?
Yeah, why wouldn't
Who the fuck cares that he's your client? You're in a relationship now.
Yep.
I guess that's the other caveat to this.
Somebody's going to get a knock on their door and say, dude, I'm going to camp out your house for a little while, let this cool off, because that... Dude, that's a bomb.
Yeah. So the poor guy. I mean, I guess he really gets 2 punches in the face. He says, "I really want to be with this guy, but I can't because he's a client." She doesn't even say, "I can't be I can't be with this guy because I'm already in an existing relationship." That's 2, and then 3. He overhears the conversation, and it's a conversation that she's having with her mother.
Oh, not only that, but then there's a 4th punch according to the submission, because then he said that she got angry at him,
right?
Because he got angry that she said that and made it into him being an asshole. So I feel tremendously bad for this poor bastard, and I unfortunately can't offer any advice because I have no fucking idea how I would handle that situation. I'm completely lost as to how I would handle that situation. I can tell you
Love is a bitch, man. I'm telling you. Love is a bitch. It's a sickness, and it's a healing aspect, too.
It is.
And...
but it doesn't seem like the relationship it really has any true bond.
Does it
really
say how long these two been together? Like 2 weeks, a year?
No, it doesn't say anything.
No clue?
Well, it sounds like it's a toxic relationship, for one thing, because it looks like they argue all the time, and it gets even worse when they start...
Are there kids involved? Any kids?
It doesn't say.
Oh, Jesus. See, it's...
With that stuff missing, I would have to assume that it's not there. But I would assume that it's probably
There's
not
so many variables. I mean, kids and is the mother living with there? I mean, is that friction?
No, it said that the mother was visiting.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. And I'm sober, and I wasn't paying attention.
It's all good.
If you have any feedback, our phone number is 603-217-5400. Ladies, gentlemen, what do you guys think? What would you do in this situation? What advice would you give to this gentleman here? We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we have some more stuff coming up here on Common Sense New Hampshire. Right, gentlemen?
Yes, we
Hey,
do.
ladies?
And we'll be back.
Okay. It's the Common Sense New Hampshire crew right here. This is Bernie.
Craig Driggers.
Matt Mike.
And the boss lady.
Don't forget, you can check out our live podcast every Sunday on Spreaker.com. Search the words Common Sense New Hampshire.
Or if you want to be part of the show, you can give us a call at 603-217-5400.
We always want to hear your thoughts, even when we don't want to hear your thoughts.
Ladies' room suggestions are always welcome.
And don't forget, we always have that awesome segment, Trigger the Driggers.
And at the end of the show, check this out. We turn a negative into a positive. Any ideas? Give us a call.
And don't forget, we have our social media accounts as well, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and everything else too. So, and don't forget that phone number once again, 603-217-5400.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Over-the-Top Carb Counter.
Mr. Over-the-Top Carb Counter.
Brushing aside such follies as work and family, you wisely adopted carbo counting as your primary pastime.
I'm crazy for carbos.
From breakfast through dinner, you tirelessly record every precious carb, hoping it might all add up to your target number, 0.
Hold on to your dream now.
Was that artichoke you ate 13.5 carbs or 13.6? Better look it up while you help yourself to another package of bacon.
I like it crispy.
So crack open an ice-cold Bud Light, oh Count of Monte Carlo, because the only thing better than meat and potatoes is meat and meat.
Mr. Over-the-Top
Bud
Carb
Light Beer,
Counter.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth,
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese.
followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Common Sense New Hampshire would like to thank McGarvey's for hosting our show. They're located at 1097 Elm Street, the oldest bar in Manchester, New Hampshire. They have great food specials brought to you by Chef Mel. Monday nights is Customer Appreciation Night, where your drinks are half off. Don't forget about the award-winning karaoke 7 nights a week. McGarvey's can also be found on Facebook. Once again, they're located at 1097 Elm Street, Manchester, New Hampshire. Their phone number is 603-627-2721.
Common Sense New Hampshire live here in Hooksett. Mike, where are we?
We are at PDS Precision Delivery Solutions. We have the world headquarters, folks. Our proud sponsor has allowed us to come in here and broadcast. Phil Palker will be here shortly. He's actually working today. We're picking up brand new trucks, and he's out there, working.
We're looking forward to checking out this new truck you're talking about, Mike. We got to do some photo ops with all of us in the
I'm
truck.
going to take you into the sleeper and give you. We're going to play hide and go seek.
Nice.
And, kick the can.
I always wanted to do that. My God.
Well, okay. For my understanding and for my smartness, if you will, what's different about these trucks? Are there anything
They're brand
different?
new.
Well, obviously they're
Brand
brand
new. I
It's got
picked
that
up
new
my
truck
truck
smell,
yesterday
that new
with 10
semi-smell.
miles on it.
Wow.
10 miles. That means it didn't go anywhere except probably to the one side of the parking lot to the next side.
All right.
That's a 10-mile parking lot?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a big
it is.
parking lot.
It
Yeah.
is.
So
Right.
let me
Walmart
ask the,
parking lot.
let me ask
Skateboard
the
demo
question
parking.
a little differently. What's the difference between your old truck and this truck here?
These are more economic, efficient trucks with the fuel. The DEF, you don't know what DEF is. It's basically it mixes with the exhaust, and you don't see all that black smoke that comes barreling out of trucks that you most see today. But there's safety features on these trucks that kind of it's a major adjustment from myself because I've been doing this so long. It basically tells you if you're following too close or you're drifting into lanes.
Lane departure warning.
And you hear these buzzing noises that is like the truck's talking to you and you're screaming down the highway, I'm not that close. Stop yelling at me.
The Chevy Cruises, and we actually we rented a Toyota, some Toyota Avalon or what was it, a Corolla as well, right?
The Corolla and the
yeah,
Avalon.
it had that feature as well that if you're crossing the double lines
lane
and
departure
whatever,
warning.
it
It's
would
totally
give you a
cool.
little fair warning and stuff like this.
I was just letting it go.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And it corrects itself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
right,
I was
right.
like, sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're drifting and you're hitting that line,
Yeah,
the
you get
car will
feedback.
go it over.
It'll pull it like
Oh,
the
so it's a
steering wheel back.
good mechanism for a drunk driver, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Really.
You're drifting. I'm not because I'm fucked up.
Right.
The blind spots
leave
on a
me
truck
alone.
the blind spots on a truck are horrendous. Did they do anything different now?
Well,
with
there's a
these new trucks?
sensor, like if you come alongside of me and you're in my blind spot, my sensor will go off. Well, it doesn't actually beep. The red light goes up and basically tells me you're there. But then if I put my blinker on, it'll go beep, beep. And that tells me don't go over because some
nice.
retard is right beside me that
Right.
won't move.
Right.
You
Does it
know?
really say retard?
Yeah.
You know, that's... You know,
And hieroglyphics. What do they call it?
Speaking of common sense, man, that's one of the things on the road that drives me fucking batshit crazy. Is someone who just sits in your blind spot, and especially like when you're on the highway or whatever. Well, it's really the only time it makes any difference. But when you're on the highway and you're doing 65, say, and the guy comes up along your blind spot and then matches you speed for speed, 65, and just stays
He's
in
in
your
that
blind
blind
spot.
spot.
You know, like. That's one of those deals where it's like you have to be, the reality is you have to be a defensive driver at all times. You know what I mean? Like you have to be mindful. I mean, obviously you know this, Mike, and I'm sure you and Aaron know this as well, Bernie, but, maybe somebody listening doesn't. I've personally, I've never been, and, knock on wood, I've never been in a car accident that was my fault, right? I've never rear-ended anyone. I've never fucking T-boned anyone. I've never just gone into another lane and crashed right into somebody. I've never been in an accident that was my fault. Because of the fact that I've always driven defensively. So that person that comes up along me and sits in my blind spot, I saw them coming. You know what I mean? I know that they're there. And I always double and triple check before I change lanes anyway. I don't just look in the mirrors. I always, look out the window as well. But that shit drives me fucking crazy. That's one of my big pet peeves. So people that just sit there like an idiot, clueless to the fact that they are sitting in your blind spot. And people do it all the time, man. I see them do it all the time.
When I'm driving the truck and I see that, sometimes I'll throw my blinker on. And we have a blinker like on the side where the blind spot is. They put a blinker right there.
Nice.
And if they see that blinking, they either go forward or they back up. And then I shut it off.
Even when you have no
Even though I'm not changing lanes. Basically, just get the fuck away from me,
Right,
please. Even
right.
just
Wake up, jackass.
behind me, beside me. Matter of fact, even if you're in front of me, get out of my way.
Right?
It's my highway.
Right, exactly.
Sorry, Sean. It's my highway.
All right.
It's
So
big vehicle, the big vehicle rules. You know
That's
what I mean?
right. Big Daddy's in the house.
So as you guys know, I love being the IT geek. I love Wi-Fi and laptops and all this good stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you guys still use CB radios, or you still use them?
Oh yeah.